Hello, everybody. It's Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com and BigWaveTrading.net coming to you with market wrap up for May 14th for you to use on Friday's stock market session. First off, let's go ahead and give credit where credit is due and say congratulations to the market today to shake off yesterday's selling and come back with a positive gain today. NYSE was up 1.18%. However, a little bit of a negative spot is that volume was lower. So we got to watch out for the new trend of higher selling and lower accumulation coming in, which I'm starting to now see recently at the end of April, where there's a big red bar compared to green bars, and then there's another big one here in May, and then another one. So the trend might be changing now from accumulation distribution. Keep an eye on it closely. As we can see, the NYSE and S&P 500 recently has been the stronger indexes. You see S&P 500 up 1.04% on lower volume, and matching basically the NYSE. And then the NASDAQ, however, today, thankfully, showed its relative strength today, and it outperformed, being up 1.5%. But overall, as you can tell by looking at the relative strength line, compared to the price action up close, the recent trend has not been good for the NASDAQ, and that is not good. Now, look closely on the NASDAQ. The disturbance is even more prominent there. You can see in April, I believe that was April 20th. Yes, it was. Big volume bar. And then look here in May. It had a distribution day without being down enough, barely 0.5%, but it counted. And then it had a real distribution day, and then another one right here, where it was down 0.88% on higher volume. And yesterday's price action, to me, was a distribution. Say the rally's under pressure, without a doubt. Today, lower volume on the rally, failing at the 200-day moving average again. That tells me to go ahead and be careful right here overall with the market. And then to confirm that, let's look at the S&P 600, which was leading the way up also. Look at this relative strength line, dying. However, had a good 1.7% gain, but by looking at the IWM, you can see that the volume was slightly higher. However, that I just don't think that's bullish overall. And there's Russell 2000 up 1.88%. To me, with the NASDAQ volume lower and the NYSE volume lower, that's all I need to know. So there was lower volume on the accumulation. Now let's go ahead and I'll show you guys the IBD graphs. Let's go ahead and look at the IBD 100. And we can look at what it looked like yesterday now for you guys. As you can see, yesterday it had a very nasty sell-off. And let's put that up there. It was down, as you can see, 5.57. And you're right, that's over 3%. So it had over a 3% loss, and it's only getting back about 1.5% of it today. So overall, weekly, it's showing a down week. Relative strength line, look at it. It's just nasty. I mean, this is when the NYSE, basically NASDAQ, tried to bottom basically back in November. Now look at the relative strength line during that time. Negative divergence. And the same can be seen in its brother, the IBD 85. Tried to bottom in November. Negative relative strength line and very negative relative strength line. But even worse, the negative at first came when the market was kind of going nowhere. Then after it broke down, you could be like, oh, okay. But now once again, the relative strength line went down and actually broke down to lower lows while this index is still making higher lows. So not good at all. The IBD 85, as you can see yesterday, it was down over 3% also. Very, very negative. 1.7, 3.4. Almost down 3% actually. Didn't quite be down. Wasn't quite down 3%, but almost down 3%. Bottom line, much bigger negative divergence to the market, and that's why you saw that relative strength line tick down. However, it's up about as much as NYSE, 1.1%, and that's why the RSC line is flat. So the IBD 100 is the weak index of the day with the relative strength line. Actually, it's about the same because it's basically going nowhere. So kind of matches up with the NASDAQ. Still, you can see overall, though, on the weekly especially, IBD 100, especially during March, during the March rally, 140 to 160 isn't very far whenever you compare that it used to be a leader and went from 100 to 100 is where it started. It went from 100 to 380 at the top from 03 to 04 during the major bull market, which is double the return of the stock market indexes below. The platinum index, let's go all the way out on the indexes so you can see. You can see the bullish intraday pattern in it, holding the recent lows in April. We can start to connect these lows here And as it moves up, that's where we'll put the support right there, in my opinion. Then we'll look at silver. Silver, extremely bullish. You can initially connect this lows to make the first support area. Now you can also just go across here if you want to do another support line right now on silver. Bottom line though, silver's looking pretty bullish overall. Let's get rid of all those lines. And then gold today, how did it do? I didn't know until looking at it now. Once again, another bullish intraday session. Overall, you can connect these lows right here and you have one uptrend. You can connect these lows right here. You have another uptrend. And then you connect the lowest lows going all the way around here and just go like right through there. Now you got another uptrend. So overall, I got a lot of uptrends. Still, the major sub-intermediate term though, or intermediate term, whichever, you can see that this downtrend, even though it's not connected to the lows now, it's actually broken above the downtrend line there. But if I connect it just to yesterday's highs, you can still see it's still in a downtrend, and then I can play and put it in now a pennant formation by doing this right there. So gold's in a pennant formation, and if it breaks out, good, it's bullish, and if it breaks down, it's bearish. Really, that's you just draw lines all over the place if you wanted to. Overall, I don't know how I feel about the market. I'm very mixed right now. I currently have 11 shorts and 24 regular longs and 28 total longs using the day trading, swing trading longs. We have 2 more of those today. We had 2 day trade, swing trading longs that I'm now giving to platinum members that I've been watching since the March lows, which I now know how to do what I want to do, and I'm going to start doing it because for the first time in 12 years of investing in my entire life, my Can Slim longs did not rack up huge gains. For the first time in my investing life, an uptrend occurred where not one single hot chart built itself. The closest one was ANCI, which is now failing now, so I can get rid of this line. But back here, when I first went long, it gave me a perfect buy pattern right here, and it was the only one. And as you can see how long that this thing even lasted, to show you how pathetic it was, it only lasted till right there. There's the top right there. So this was as long as the perfect buy pattern to the initial top, 40%. However, it did move higher, and this was the high right here. So you're able to, notice how I know, because I know the stock well. So there you are. You got a 49% from the perfect buy pattern to the top. That's been pathetic, and that was back in August, and since then we haven't had any. However, from the lows, there's been fun stocks like Lee. I'll go ahead and show you because Lee was one. Here's the buy on Lee. Look at the volume surge. Look at the price surge. Look at the BOP. You just go by price percent change today. You find the nice patterns. If you know how to find nice patterns, great. If you don't, your fault. Learn. And then we'll connect these lows right here, February, March through May. You got an uptrend right here. Very nice. So you see higher lows. And now you have from right here to here a series of higher highs. That's what I like to see. And this obviously was the bounce breakout to a new recent high. You go along the next day, 54 cents. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 241% gain. Take almost all your profits. Take some profits after day 1. Take some more here, definitely, especially with the high day close. So after just 3 days of holding, you would have been out of half of it with 150% gain. Would have sold more here because this is a miracle. And then even here you would have sold more, especially with it only gaining 3%. So now you'd be out of almost all of it with a 241% gain. And now you can play with it. And even though it's sold down here, yeah, sell more, absolutely. Now you should probably have about 10% of it and go ahead and let it ride unless it breaks down or lose its max green bop. Either way, there's another one. Gains to be had out there. And then there was other ones. I'm just going to show you them all now because I missed them. I was just watching them to make sure I go long. So right here you got a 16% gain, but here after your big up day you could have taken profits, and in a short amount of time you would have had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, 15% gain. I know it's not a lot, but you know what? It's still something. And then there's other ones like this one. This one gave me the move right here, and you can see how it's been acting, which is perfect 95% gain. So just some interesting plays. And the two yesterday, they're both higher today, but they weren't up a huge amount, so they still hold them all. And the two new ones we got tonight in the traders. However, for the CanSlim longs, we had two new speculative CanSlim longs yesterday, and both worked. So overall, market's working for me. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I went a little long, but we'll just chop it down for the free guys. All right, I'll be back with part 2 and part 3. Or no, just part 2 next, because we just had the two speculative longs and I can't post them. So we'll just go over ourselves. Aloha.